Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. The news never stops and neither does Wrestlelamia. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including why Miz won the Battle Royal, why Big E didn't wrestle at Survivor Series, is Aleister Black being buried, Chris Jericho takes a cheap shot at WWE, which wrestler would Undertaker want to be, and more. Why The Miz won the Survivor Series Battle Royal. Survivor Series pre-show Interbrand Battle Royal spotlighted younger talent such as Dominic Mysterio and Chad Gable, but it was ultimately veteran grappler The Miz who won, leading to questions why the WWE didn't give the rub to a younger star. Sportskeeda's Riju Dasgupta thinks that it's because the WWE is still planning on putting the WWE Championship on Miz, who is currently Mr. Money in the Bank. While it's unlikely The Miz would hold the belt for long, it would definitely help one of the WWE's most trusted workers and someone whose reality show helps the USA Network, which airs Raw and NXT, in the ratings. Backstage Undertaker news. The Undertaker's final farewell was well received by fans, and there are already rumors on what happened backstage at Survivor Series. According to Wrestling News' Paul Davis, The Undertaker told his colleagues backstage that he really is done. Furthermore, even Vince McMahon has come to the conclusion that The Undertaker is retired and should stay that way, which explains why The Fiend didn't attack The Undertaker at Survivor Series. What would the point of an attack be if there wasn't a subsequent match? As always, Vince McMahon's mind can and often does change, so don't rule out a return. For now, enjoy the fact that The Undertaker had a memorable send-off after an unforgettable 30-year run in WWE. Which wrestling icon would Undertaker want to be? The Undertaker has accomplished so much in his career that it's difficult to imagine him wanting to trade places with any other performer in the sport's long history. Nevertheless, when asked which WWE superstar he'd like to be, Taker told Fightful, "It'd be pretty tough to not want to be Ric Flair. I mean, he was just like the epitome of success and being world champion and all the things that come with that. I just always thought Ric Flair, his character was, it was just so over the top, but not really, because that's really Ric Flair. But he's kind of the bar for which guys of my generation measured themselves as far as success. He obviously had a tremendous, and continues to have a tremendous career. So I guess it'd be the Nature Boy. That's as far off from The Undertaker as you can get." Slick Rick and The Undertaker are two very different individuals, but it's undeniable why a wrestler, even one as successful as The Undertaker, would want to have a career as historic as Flair's. Was Edge at Survivor Series? There were many people on hand at Survivor Series to celebrate The Undertaker's final farewell. See our recap and analysis video for more details, including one WWE Hall of Famer who didn't appear on TV. PW Insider is reporting that Edge was backstage at the Amway Center, which has led to speculation that he could be returning to WWE TV soon. Even if the Rated R superstar isn't coming back soon, the WWE likely feels it would hurt kayfabe if he showed up without making any effort to take out Randy Orton. WWE Salaries. Ever wonder how much WWE superstars make? Recently, the UK paper The Mirror published an article on superstars' base salaries. Here are the top men and women. John Cena, $8.5 million. Roman Reigns, $5 million. Randy Orton, $4.5 million. AJ Styles, $3.5 million. Seth Rollins, $3 million. The Undertaker, $2.5 million. The Miz, $2.5 million. Kevin Owens, $2 million. Dolph Ziggler, $1.5 million. And Ronda Rousey, $1.5 million. The WWE boasts about its women's revolution, but it's interesting that Becky Lynch is the only other woman in the $1 million range. Ronda Rousey is paid $1.5 million. The article notes Charlotte Flair receives $550,000 per year, which is a major drop-off from Lynch. Prior to his contract ending, Brock Lesnar received $12 million a year, with a reported $500,000 bonus for every pay-per-view he main evented. Dolph Ziggler's $1.5 million salary speaks volumes when it comes to fans asking why the talented but underpushed superstar remains with the promotion. Wild rumor on what's next for Lana. Lana's unlikely role as the sole survivor for the Women's Raw Survivor Series team has fans speculating whether wrestling's ravishing Russian will finally get a push after weeks of being put through the announcer's table. Sportskeeda's Riju Dasgupta has an interesting take on things and thinks Lana may team up with Naomi to challenge Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Even more interesting is the theory that Lana will grow tired of being disrespected on Raw and join forces with Retribution, teaming with Reckoning to challenge for the tag belts. What do you think? Will Lana's career go forward, or is it back to the tables for her? Let us know in the comments below. Chris Jericho takes cheap shot at WWE. Current AEW star Chris Jericho recently discussed drug use in wrestling today, turning what should have been an important conversation into a cheap shot against the WWE. As fans know, the 90s were known as a period when wrestlers liked to party, with far too many falling victim to the pitfalls of substance abuse. However, what is the drug scene like in wrestling now? Chris Jericho, whose career dates back to 1990, recently spoke with Conan on Keeping It 100 with Conan about how things are now. Now it's, weed and alcohol. There's really no pills, there's really no drugs. Jericho worked in WCW, ECW, and the WWF, and even the Smoky Mountain territory, so he's seen a lot. Anyone who's read wrestlers' memoirs about the 90s or watched our Behind the Bell series know how rampant drugs and alcohol were. According to Jericho, today's backstage environment is much cleaner, at least in AEW. There's food after every show for the entire crew. Half the time there's alcohol as well, so it's almost like there's an after party after every show, but the reason for that is the Khan family have a sports background. The McMahon family is a wrestling background. In sports, you take care of your athletes and you make sure they're fed. You make sure they have a place to stay. In WWE, you don't. You find your own food, you rent your own hotel, you get your own rental car, and have at it. Jericho's comments are somewhat disingenuous as the WWE does have its wellness policy, which tests superstars for illicit drug use. While there have been questions about how the WWE administers the tests, including questions whether it favors top stars over undercard stars, drug use in the WWE seems to have decreased, and it has nothing to do with wrestlers' travel arrangements. Jericho turning the discussion into a cheap shot at the WWE took away from what could have been an important conversation. 19-year-old wrestler passes away. Terrible news coming from the United Kingdom as up-and-coming wrestler Cameron Wellington has reportedly passed away due to the coronavirus. WrestleTalk's Louis Dangor is reporting that 19-year-old Cameron Wellington from Walsall in Birmingham tested positive for the virus on Tuesday and was being rushed to the hospital with serious breathing difficulties the following evening. Wrestlelamia sends its heartfelt condolences to Mr. Wellington's friends, family, and colleagues. Why Big E didn't wrestle. The New Day's Big E is supposedly getting a singles push, but if so, why didn't he wrestle at Survivor Series? There were many rumors suggesting Big E would be the fifth man on SmackDown's Survivor Series team, but that spot was filled by Otis, leading to confusion over what's up with Big E. According to Dave Meltzer, the reasoning was simple. WWE wanted Big E to accompany his New Day teammates, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, to the ring in their Gears of War 5 outfits, a cross-promotion for the faction's appearance in the video game. Considering the Blue Brand's men's team dropped 5 consecutive falls to Raw, it's probably best that Big E wasn't on the team at all. Does anyone care department? On a related note, while Wrestlelamia is uncertain if anyone cares, Lars Sullivan's absence from Survivor Series apparently was due to the WWE wanting to protect The Freak. After all, if he was part of the SmackDown Survivor Series team, he would have had to take some sort of loss, even if it was a countout or disqualification. What's up with Aleister Black? Aleister Black has been laying low on WWE TV as of late, despite being traded from Raw to SmackDown. While it might seem like the Dutch Destroyer's lack of airtime is due to his wife Zelina Vega's release, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that the two are not connected. Ridiculous? Not when you look at Black's push, which has been hit and miss for the second half of 2020, with Black's biggest moment being his kayfabe eye injury and subsequent heel turn. The WWE has had trouble booking him for some time, and while Vince McMahon is likely furious with Vega for defying his third-party platform ban, Black's lack of a push has no bearing on it, at least yet. If Black returns and starts jobbing to Hornswoggle every week, everyone will know what's what. Who was the Gobbledy Gooker? Last but not least, while 99.95% of the wrestling world celebrated the 30-year anniversary of The Undertaker's debut, a small percentage, including our truth, were more concerned with that other 30-year debut, that of the Gobbledy Gooker. The WWE wasn't going to leave the Gooker out, and he, or is it a she, showed up, defeating our truth for the 24/7 championship before Akira Tozawa defeated him. Well, it's known that Hector Guerrero played the Gooker back in 1990. Who played the Gooker this year? PW Insider reports that it was Drew Gulak. With any luck, Gulak won't be unmasked as the Gooker, as his WWE career is already circling the drain. Well guys, there you have it, the wildest news, stories, and rumors you need to know in wrestling. What did you think of these stories and rumors? Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.